Welcome back to the channel, Trainsalot. It's your host, AjTrainsalot. Educate, empower, and enlighten. Educate out of limiting beliefs and victimhood. Empower into our purpose and potential, and enlighten into our true nature. Today, yes. Today is all day. Today is the day. Today we have a very special video. Now this video is somewhat old. I believe this aired on one of Oprah's channels for discussion. It's a very interesting, this lady makes a very interesting claim, and she says a lot of things. And we're gonna get into it. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
There we go. Black woman blames obesity on racism. Now we're gonna see, right, if she can logically connect these two concepts. Like, how did racism lead to you? And let's go back and look at her, right? She's the biggest one probably in the room. Actually, this lady in the purple looks very large and in charge. Okay, and she's the second biggest person in the room. Now, how does racism lead you to having a lack of responsibility and accountability in your own life and your diet and your lack, or I should say lack thereof, diet, right? And lack of exercise, consistent exercise.
Means the diet don't work for you the same.
Now, how many people are willing to bet she's actually
We are living in the Trump era.
are willing to bet she's actually been on a strict diet? A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, I diet." But it mainly consists of them just fasting irregularly for an unknown period, a random period of time.
I hate when people talk about black women being obese. I hate it. We are living in the Trump era.
White people are racist. So
What is the Trump era? And I don't know if this is the same girl, but I think whoever edited this video put these two clips together to kind of give a connecting message. And on her board, it says all, well, not most, it says all white people are racist. And underneath it has her PayPal. That's incredible.
put this up because I really want any white person in the room to know up front that this is what we're dealing with.
Black women, when we do the same diets as white women, we lose less weight and we lose it slower.
Now that was impeccable.
In the room to know up front that this is what we're dealing with.
Black women, when we do the same diets as white women, we lose less weight and we lose it slower.
When black women do the same diets as white women, they lose less weight and they do it slower. Does that make sense to anyone? And in case you're wondering, it's completely false. There's no special diet or vice versa. There's no special gene, right, that makes a diet work more or less. Everything is up to the individual and how strict you actually follow the diet and the exercise programming. These two things are going to work in conjunction. And to say, like, it's as if white women have this generalized diet, this monolithic diet that they all follow, whether it be keto, intermittent fasting, or whatever may have you. But to say, when I follow the same diet as a white woman, I lose the weight slower. And then not even she said black women, as if she's the House representative on black women and diets. Well, you're clearly not.
The racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
This is actually crazy. The racism you're experiencing, and then she's reaching for the stars. The racism you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet. What does that have to? What does that have to do with a diet? You fat little rascal.
That it's not going to be this coddling of white tears and what that looks like. We're not going to discuss. Oh, maybe some of us have worked it out.
White tears. Why does it? And this is the thing that kills me about black people. They drive so much separation. It's like, what do you want? Do you want segregation or not? Like, make up your mind to which is actually beneficial. I was like, white tears, just separating upon separating. I'm still tripping off. I gotta play this back. This is crazy.
The diet don't work for you. The struggle to make ends meet, the racism that you're experiencing, and
her her tonality is so funny. The racism that you're experiencing, and it's funny. You know, this, I could see this kind of event, podcast, discussion, it's not fruitful for many reasons, but the main one is, and I didn't watch the full thing, but I'm willing to bet no one spoke up and disagreed and actually questioned her on these things. Like, where did you get this from? Because she's assuming so much. The racism that you're experiencing. Okay, damn, I didn't know I was experiencing that. Well, thank you for letting me know. And then saying,
struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
So the diet doesn't work. That means you're experiencing racism. And you're struggling to make ends meet. That's fascinating. That is absolutely fascinating. We're going to get to it.
That it's not going to be this coddling of white tears and what that looks like. We're not going to discuss. Oh,
white tears.
No, you're always going to be racist, actually.
We're moving, we're taking care of kids, but our food quality suffers. And look, those policies kill our people. You can't get access to good health care, good insurance.
So even when you're on your path to trying to figure out how...
And this is interesting too. Like, we've come to a point in society where we expect the government to just take care of us. Like, why does the government need to provide you with health care? You can't take care of yourself? I mean, just it's ridiculous. Like, of course there's special operations and you get seen for specializations and and specialized knowledge. We're not all. I don't expect everyone to be adept in physiology and anatomy and biology and know how this and that works. But at the end of the day, health is just so simple. And we love to complicate things and rely on the government. It's like healthcare and this and that. It's like, that's the least of your worries. Literally. And if anything, you're the reason why it's so expensive and it takes so long to get seen by a provider, because you're hogging up all the resources. You're taking more space and resources than someone who's actually taking care of themselves.
Be a better human being, because I believe that white people are born into not being human.
Yeah, look at her audience. It's funny. Shout out to her. She truly believes. Excuse me. She truly believes what she's saying too. This is amazing.
Because I believe that white people are born into not being human. Like that actually, instead of people of color and black folks being dehumanized, that actually everyone is dehumanized off rip within white supremacy.
I feel like when I think about the trauma
Whatever.
that black men have gone through, along with the trauma that a black woman has gone through, we're able to heal each other because we know each other's pain.
That y'all are born into a life to not be human, and that's what y'all are taught to do, to be demons. So in this particular way, white people are all racist.
We know.
Shorty knocked my glasses off with that one. She said white people are taught to be demons. That's what y'all are taught to. By who? It's like, where are you getting these concepts and philosophies about the world around you? And one of the things black people don't realize is one of their major detriments is mindset. Perception is reality. Like, you can't go around thinking that a certain population is your enemy, like truly deep down believing it. This is your enemy. All of these people are racist. It doesn't matter who I come across. It doesn't matter who I'm actually friends with. But just know, I think you're an enemy deep down. You can't operate in a world like that and think you're somehow going to be successful. You're somehow going to rise out of your mental and physical turmoil, right? Like, you're in the ghettos and in the hoods. Like, you're opposing yourself. You're creating this separation yourself. You see, it's not the white people doing it. Black people, they do it preemptively as like a protection mechanism, and it's so full of ego. But moreover, I mean, just think, wouldn't it be smarter, right? Wouldn't it be smarter if white people ruled the world, or let's just say America, white people ruled America? Wouldn't it be smarter to align and assimilate rather than to create an unnecessary enemy? I mean, it's ludicrous. Move it.
Born into a life to not be human, and that's what y'all are taught to do, to be demons.
To be demons.
So in this particular way,
I'm gonna call you demons and put my PayPal under, so you can, for some reason, send me some money, because I'm black and I'm broke and I'm fat and I don't care. And she got her website under it, like in the ugliest font. That's the thing that kills me. Like, who, like, hires this person to come speak? Like, what value is she giving? Like, this is like, man, society is crazy. Society is funny.
We know our ancestors' pain. Black men need a black woman, and black women need a black man to help.
And it's funny. I think black people are so connected to this idea of the ancestors, the sacred ancestors. Like, we know their pain. We know the struggles. It's like, what are you struggling against now? Your ancestors didn't have your problems, okay? One of the reasons, first, they knew how to stay fit. They knew how to follow a diet. They knew, not to overindulge and not be gluttonous. Yeah, they knew those things, right? So why don't we get back to that, right? And then moreover, they knew to keep things, I mean, it's not like they had a choice, but they knew to keep things in a tight, close-knit circle, which is to say a community. And that's really what the white people, certain groups, that's really what they have mastered and is lacking in the black community today, because we can get black folks to congregate in a conversation like this, and this looks like two different conversations, but we'll get into the obesity. We can get black people to congregate into conversations like this, and then we have black speakers going to businesses representing the community terribly. All white people are racist. It's like, I mean, if I was there, how would I look at black women going forward? Right? And then we get upset when the majority of people have this perception about us, and they have their preconceived notions. It's like, gee, I wonder why. It's like these people, they think everyone's their enemy. Something is wrong with everyone.
Must be better, and because we know each other, we need each other to heal those wounds that were never really treated.
Right. It's like what wounds do you have now? Right? Like, can we talk about the present day so we can move forward? Like, our ancestors have nothing to do with today. And if you could talk to them, I'm pretty sure they would tell you, focus on the now. Don't worry about me. I'm long gone and dead and cannot help you. But what you need to do is get a family, get a community, and go from there, because it starts from within. Each family makes up a town, and a town makes up a city, and you keep going up from there. And that's how you create a singular culture, not to be infiltrated by other people. Okay, this looks like...
When the United States was founded, it was white men that got drunk and made a nation on the backs of slaves.
White men that got drunk and made a nation. Like, whoa, I don't know. Do you know how to make a nation? It's like saying they made a sandwich. No, they didn't just make a nation. They didn't just get drunk and make a nation. That's the problem too. It's like oversimplifying significant events in history. You don't know what you're talking about.
Here you see what's built by the slaves, and I know you know.
The backs of slaves. Okay, they were slaves. That's what they're supposed to do. Build. Meanwhile, you're not a slave and you haven't built anything. The irony.
I don't have time for this anymore. That's why I'm telling you. Where do you stand? There's you recorded. I don't have time for this anymore. That's why I'm telling you. Where do you stand? There's no middle ground. It's either them or us, and it's us. We have to stand with the people, bro. And you are representing right now the black community. Don't ask where they are. You are here. You are the community. I am the Puerto Rican community. So stand with us. Don't be divisive. Because you know what? You sound a little bit like the dumbasses that say all those things. I'm with you.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. He said, don't be divisive. And he called him a dumbass. He said, you sound like the dumbass. The dumbasses that say all lives matter. While telling him not to be divisive. That's incredible. And then he's Puerto Rican. He looks like a guy. He looks like Carrot Top. The fat Carrot Top. He probably blames it on racism as well.
And you are representing right now the black community. Don't ask where they are. You are here. You are the community. I am the Puerto Rican community. So stand with us. Don't be divisive. Because you know what? You sound a little bit like the dumbasses that say all lives matter.
And that's a problem too. Like, you are the community. I am the Puerto Rican community. No, you're not. You're just a fat Puerto Rican. And that looked like just a weak black guy. I wish, man, I wish that was me. Okay? That way I could, same way I'm doing now. And it's easy too. Like, a lot of times you just gotta ask questions, dive into people's psychology, and they'll allude to their stupidity eventually, right? With enough accurate questions, they'll allude to it. Here we go, back to the obese woman.
But I think it's also really important for us to know that we have the power to choose how we see ourselves.
Sure.
We will be fortified to fight all of these other external issues.
And it's funny, like, people nodding their head. Like, she didn't say anything special. She didn't say anything profound. We have the power to choose how we see ourselves. Okay. Like, what else is new? This is funny, the things that get on TV. It's like, who are these people? What are their credentials and background? And even if it is whatever, like, not everyone is meant to be a speaker, let alone a thinker.
To choose how we see ourselves.
It's like, okay, if we don't, who does? Who controls how I see myself?
Sure. We will be fortified
Sure.
to fight all of these other external issues when we pour into ourselves enough to say, I love me, I am not the conditions that surround me, I am not my experience, I am more. I am not my experience, I am more.
Okay, so you're not your conditions around you, and you're not your experience. To which, I mean, I would agree. But she's saying it in a way where one might think that your conditions and your experiences have nothing to do with what you actually are. And they do, because what you are, right, determines your conditions. They determine your experiences, right? So this is what I mean, like, not everyone can speak in a logical direction and deduction. Like, who you are And vice versa, your surroundings and your experiences, they say a lot about who you are and what you are. Okay? Your experiences, the people you hang around with, they say a lot about your character. Because why would you be hanging out with thieves if you thought that was corrupt or these people were morally bankrupt? Why would you be around them? Exactly. That's not to say, okay, you'll be a thief, you'll be a liar for all your life. Pardon me. But it does say something about your beliefs or lack thereof. Character doesn't just come out of thin air. It's developed over time and years. Okay, so this is a little bit more with the obese woman.
Who believes we make excuses for not taking care of ourselves?
Woo! Notice how many hands go up. Look.
Yes?
Almost everyone.
For not taking care of ourselves.
Such a good question. It looks like a lot of people raise their hand, but actually,
Yes?
I mean, it's a good amount, but it's still a good amount. It should be everyone. It's so funny to see people who have lived so long on Earth and they still don't know anything about themselves or human nature itself.
All day long, let me hear from you.
My
All
name is
day
Lisa
long.
Banks, and I am the only girl in my family. I'm the oldest. So I was born with stress. I lost both of my parents back to back. So you go.
Damn, that was an excuse right there. Is she arguing for or against it?
I am the.
All day long, let me hear from you.
My name is Lisa Banks, and I am the only girl in my family. I'm the oldest.
Yeah, she was correct when she said all day long, 'cause that's exactly what she doing. She said, start me, I'm the oldest. I was born with stress. What? That's crazy. How are you born with stress?
So I was born with stress.
I noticed.
My name is
And that's the only thing she said.
Lisa Banks, and I am the only girl in my family. I'm the oldest. So I was born with stress.
She's the only girl in her family, right? And how likely is it that she's the only girl? Maybe in her immediate family, right? She's the only girl and she's the oldest. Again, in your immediate family. Probably, I'll give you that. But then to say those two things equate to you being born with stress, as if you're in 300 culture and the oldest has to go out and kill a wolf and bring it back to feed the family, or else you're shunned forever. Give me a break.
I lost both of my parents back to back. So you go home to your father's funeral, you deal with preparing for them, repast, then you go back to work. They only give you 3 days. You go back to work, pay bills, take care of your daughter, your household, but you didn't mourn not one parent, but both parents. And then on top of that, you still gotta get up every day and go to work and pay the bills and
It's what do you do that anyway? Okay, your parents, it's a sad event, but again, how long have you been on Earth? It's inevitable. Did you think they were gonna be immortal? And then to say, oh, they only give you 3 days. How much time you want? How much time you need to grieve? Right? You want a month, 2 months? You gotta pay bills. Yes, people die, The world keeps turning. This is not something to shy away from it or try to fight or try to like overly empathize and add too much compassion in it. Like, these things happen. This is the way of the world. And again, yes, it's an unfortunate circumstance. Got it. But I mean, damn, she was totally correct all day long. All day long.
Juice and be that person people think you're supposed to be. You're dying inside. You're stressed.
And again, this is why I don't see a ring on her finger. This is, oh yeah, not on her ring finger. But I mean, this is why you would ideally have a man, so your income would be offset. You wouldn't have to. You could take more than 2-3 days off to grieve, right? Sure, whatever. This is the importance of family, community, and culture. You got each other's backs. So yes, everyone's stressed because we're all doing it on our own and we don't know how to unite under the right circumstances, under the right pretense. And then when we do unite, right, we don't say anything of value. We don't preach things of high moral character. We don't teach professional and personal development. We say things like this, and we just want to party and BS.
Every day and go to work and pay the bills and produce
Pay the bills.
and be that person people think you're supposed to be. You're dying inside. You're stressed inside. You're not taking care of yourself. There's no exercise. There's no meditation. Now, today, I'm getting better. The weight is definitely stress. I don't take care of myself as I used to, but I'm praying about it, moving forward and making small changes in my life.
She says she's praying about it. Praying about it. Praying is not going to get that weight off. I guarantee you.
You're not taking care of yourself. There's no exercise. There's no meditation.
And yeah, unfortunately, as humans, we tend to move backwards. Like, the time we should be doing something is usually when we don't. And unfortunately, we have to wait until we feel good to do the things that are good for us. Right? She says she's grieving. There's no exercise. There's no meditation. That should be the time you're exercising the most and meditating the most. Why? Because you need it. You need it. And of course, you're going to fall deeper into a depression and deeper into obesity and deeper into unhealthy habits because you're coping with it in the absolute wrong way. This is the time you should be doing these things the absolute most. And unfortunately, the way a lot of human psychology works, and this is why it's important to be able to manipulate your own psychology, because when you don't feel like doing something, that's the exact moment you need to do it. And unfortunately, we have to wait until we're overweight, until we're diagnosed with ailments to start caring about our health, to start paying attention to our diets. It's an unfortunate thing. And we can't be mad, right, or upset when certain industries and organizations, they understand this and they play on that. They manipulate that part of our psychology. It's late. I ain't gonna lie, it's late. I'm tired.
Now, today, I'm getting better. The weight is definitely stress. I don't take care of myself as I used to, but I'm praying about it, moving forward and making small changes in my life.
Right. One thing I commend her on is, one, speaking up and being open and authentic and honest. And realizing that the weight is stress. Like, the weight on her body is the accumulation of stress. That's why she should have been working out, meditating, doing yoga. She should have been making these, but it's never too late. She should have been making these small changes in her diet here and there so that when she is depressed, right, when we are in these lows, they're high lows rather than low lows, right? They're, when you're in your rock bottom, right, you're just a little higher than the rocks, right? You're just a little higher than the rocks. And that's really one of the keys to living a happy life. Forget success, just being happy, right? Because we're humans. We all go through bouts of lethargy. You know, we don't feel like doing this. We don't feel like doing that. Some people have seasonal depression. It comes in waves. Like, we all get existential. But the key is to lessen the blow of these things when they happen. And if you can't master that, then you'll be in this cycle forever.
But when that video came on, I resonate so much with that because that's what I was dealing with.
Remember, the question was, do we make excuses for ourselves? Let's go back to the question, because that was like I forgot the damn
Who believes we make excuses for not taking care of ourselves? Yes? We make excuses for not taking care of ourselves. Yes? All day long, let me hear from
and that's crazy.
My name is Lisa.
She didn't even raise her hand though, but she went up and spoke. Shout out to her.
Because that's what.
And she just made hella excuses. But again, it's good that she realizes she's making excuses.
What I was dealing with.
And the first step to this is cliche, but the first step to solving a problem is admitting you have the problem, right? And then to stop making excuses, right? Once you acknowledge, whoa, this is a problem, you have to also acknowledge you've been making excuses up to that point. That's why it's a problem.
So I actually want us to hold up a little bit before we do this thing.
Oh my goodness, of course you do. Well, of course you do.
So
It's funny. Everyone clapping like, yeah, we make excuses. Is she about to argue on behalf of excuses?
I want us to hold up a little bit before we do this thing where we start blaming ourselves. Like,
This is the problem too. Like, who else is to blame? You got fat. You messed up. You ate all that. Not me. Oh, not me. Not your sister, not your brother. You ate those donuts. You ate that McDonald's, that Chick-fil-A. You ate that Dunkin' Donuts. Who else is to blame? Yeah, circumstances happen, situations happen, which, newsflash, it rains on everybody. It rains on the rich. It rains on the poor, right? But it's about mindset and attitude. How you think will determine your life. She said, I don't want to do this thing where I don't want to do this weird thing where we start taking accountability. Oh no, I don't want to do that.
hold up a little bit before we do this thing where we start blaming ourselves. Like, I hate when people talk about black women being obese. I hate it. Because
How, Sway? When you're the example, you're the living proof of what you hate. Now, isn't that ironic?
Like, I hate when people talk about black women being obese. I hate it. Because it becomes a way to blame us for a set of conditions that we didn't create. We're moving, we're taking care of kids, but our food quality suffers. We are living in the Trump era.
All kinds of excuses. Okay, so we know how old this video is. All kinds of excuses. She said we're moving? She said we're moving.
Care of kids, but our food quality conditions that we didn't create. We're moving, we're taking care of kids, but our...
Interesting. Now, conditions. Like I said, it rains, right? Who creates that condition? No one. But we all have to deal with it. There's things that happen in the world that no one necessarily is engineering, right? But we have to adapt and persist.
Food quality suffers.
Our food quality suffers. It's just ironic because there's, like, not everyone in the room is obese, right? So obviously there's a way to, and that proves what I'm saying. It all comes down to choice. Obviously there's a way to get through these things and not be obese, right? Like, there should be someone else in her chair to say, well, yeah, all these things happen, even if they were true. We're living in a Trump era, as if that's some sort of logical reasoning. Say, even if all these things were true and they were directly affecting me, food quality, there's ways around that. Like, food quality, like, no, it's the quality of your food. And the really, you don't gotta worry about the quality, it's the quantity, which it seems to be your problem.
You're living in the Trump era.
She said the Trump era.
And look, those policies kill our people. You can't get access to good health care, good insurance. The research says that black women, when we do the same diets as white women, we lose less weight and we lose it slower.
The research says, survey says. Yeah, I would love to be in the room and have an opportunity to ask this lady some questions. The research says when we do diets as white women. Now, okay, aren't white women under the Trump era as well? Is it just somehow that black women can't get access to good health care, good insurance? And again, you're obese. Your rates are going to be through the roof, as they should be, because you're more of a risk. You're more of a tax burden than anyone. So to say you can't afford something is your fault. But again, wasn't everyone living in the Trump era? It was just you that got fat? That's incredible.
Even when we're following the diet than our white women counterparts. And what public health practitioners think is that our stress responses in the body change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing, practitioners think, is that our stress responses in the body change our metabolism.
Now, man, it's terrible. What she said was true, and you'll find in all good lies, there's a sprinkle of truth. She said your stress responses change your metabolism, which is true, got it. But it's, why are you having these stress responses? Why? And again, right, the other lady says she's not meditating. If you were meditating, you would have control. You would have more control over your stress responses, over your hormones, and over your heart rate. You would be able to identify, right, when you're in certain situations and be able to handle yourself accordingly. Take a step away, take some deep breaths, right, get your heart rate down. Because there are certain situations, and especially nowadays, the media and just with relationships being conducted a certain way, when we see certain things, it actually does trigger the I'm tired. The parasympathetic nervous system, right, into a fight or flight. And that's obviously not natural in response to, seeing something on social media, seeing a certain person get elected. It should be for fighting or running, but that same response gets triggered. If that response is triggered, multiple times throughout the day, that's for sure a problem, and that's going to affect your sleep, your metabolism, your physiological happenings. But what she's connecting it to is absolutely false. And again, the conversation, right? Who believes we make mistakes? We make excuses for our behavior. So to say, yeah, I couldn't gain control of my, again, like, how long have you been alive? I couldn't gain control of my nervous system, therefore it's not my fault. It is your body, which you clearly haven't taken the time to learn about yet. Instead, you're reading bogus studies about white and black women diets, as if there isn't tons of variables.
Is that our stress responses in the body change our metabolism? It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing.
And as she said, literally, it's literally that the racism, which is not true, literally means you could literally change one out and insert the other.
And it's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
Okay, so try another one. So try another one. What? Like, and we're not gonna get into it, but there's no amount of, think about soldiers, Marines overseas. Think about how many times their stress response is triggered just in one day. And somehow they're still fit, right? And there's black soldiers, black naval officers, right? They were in the Trump era, and somehow they didn't get obese. There's no amount of stress responses, stress triggers that can cause one to literally not be able to lose weight and stay in shape. So again, her whole philosophy is about not taking accountability, not taking responsibility for what goes down her gullet. And she was trying to sound so smart by bringing up the study and stress response. And again, in all great lies, there's a sprinkle of truth. So you have to listen with great discernment. And it's just odd. You see all these women nodding their head like being led astray.
Literally that the racism that you're experiencing
They not in there, yo.
stress responses in the body
They not in their head hard too.
change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same.
And again, try another diet. Like I don't even know what else to say. Like, just eat some other stuff.
And I'm with you. I'm with you. But I think it's also really important for us to know that we have the power to choose how we see ourselves.
And that's a problem too. Like, she's trying to disagree, but she's not being direct. And just like this woman here, I'm confused. She's like, what did you just say? We have the power to choose how we see ourselves. Okay, I would take it a step further. We have the power to manipulate our psychology and our physiology to where we can speed up or slow down our metabolism. It's like, why haven't you researched that though? Like, you researching things that don't matter and don't really pertain to you and are not relevant. Like, you're obese. Why don't you research different diets? You're talking about things that are out of your scope right now.
Power to choose how we see ourselves.
Sure.
We will be fortified to fight all of these other external issues when we pour into ourselves enough to say, I love me, I am not the conditions that surround me, I am not my experience.
Right. And yeah, that rebuttal makes sense in response to what she says. But again, she's just being too, for my taste, she's being too around the bush.
I am more than the circumstances that I have gone through.
Amen. Yes, we are way more, and if we're going to continue to be more, we can't continue to play the blame game. We can't continue to talk about circumstance as if we're not the masters of our own universe. And it's surprising to see a group of black people who would propagate this idea of the ancestors and Negro spirituality and African spirituality when, you know, they would never subscribe to these ideas of being victims, basically, right? Of being victims to circumstance, and therefore not being able to control ourselves and saying, well, hey, I was following the same diet as that white guy or that white woman and I didn't lose weight. Like, who in their right mind does that make sense to? It's like no one. That's why you have to be in a state of disrepair and disharmony, which this lady clearly is. I mean, look at her. She said literally, it's literally the racism. Now, yeah, granted, you know, if you're experiencing, you know, a lot of stressful situations, and that's why PTSD is a thing. Your stress response gets triggered, too much, and then your reality is so connected to this traumatic event, to this memory, that you can leave the physical place, but mentally you're still there, and you're not in the present moment. Oh man, it's a very interesting topic. Yeah, let me know what you think. If you're fat and you're watching, right, if you think that's due to racism, living in the Biden era, right, prices are high. Quality of food is low. Price is high, quality of food is low. Let me know what you think. Another quick live. Thanks for coming. Transformer Trainsalot. You can get my book, Transformation Through Fitness. It's going to teach you about success principles, right, that can apply to other aspects of life. We're talking about discipline, dedication, talking about visualization and imagination, right? Things that these women clearly need to do research on, because this just ain't cutting it. Anyway, thank you for coming. I'm about to take my black ass to sleep. Like, comment, subscribe, send to a fat, lazy friend who doesn't take accountability, responsibility. If you need personal training, meal plans, you can get in touch with me through my Instagram, AJ_Trainsalot. On Instagram, AJ_Trainsalot. And that's all, folks.